Why electric cars prices are set to fall? Are electric cars finally going to be cheap enough for everyone to buy? As prices go down, now might be the best time to think about getting an EV for your next car. But why is this drop really happening, and will it be enough to persuade doubters? EVs have been seen as the future of transportation for a long time because they are better for the earth than cars with gasoline engines. But for many people, the higher initial cost of electric cars compared to regular cars that run on gasoline has been a big turnoff. Over the course of their life, EVs use less gas and require less up. This will soon change though. Soon the prices of electric cars will likely drop significantly, making them easier for a wider range of people to buy. Electric car prices are falling because store lots are filling up with more models because fewer people want to buy them. Because of this, after federal tax benefits, the prices of some EVs are getting close to those of gas-powered cars. Kelley Blue Book says that the average price of a new EV in May was $56,648, which is about 15% less than the average price 2 years ago, which was $65,000. IC says that the price of a used EV dropped 42% from a year ago when it was worth $40,783 to $28,767 last month. An editor-in-chief of Cars.com told CBS News that prices are going down in part because sales of electric vehicles have stopped growing for about a year now. There's still a price difference between EVs and gas-powered cars, but is getting smaller as shops lower the prices of EVs. So we're seeing inventory build up both on the new side and the used side, which means there are deals to be had, she stated. Experts think that the number of EVs sold in 2024 will stay around 1.2 million, which is the record number of EVs sold in the US last year. With federal tax credits of up to $7,500 for new EVs and up to $4,000 for used EVs that meet certain requirements, some Americans are more likely to buy electric. With these credits applied, the prices of EVs are even more similar to those of gas-powered cars. New types of gas-powered cars sell for an average of $45,000, Newman said. Dealership stock. 3 years ago, there weren't many EVs for sale because automakers were having trouble getting enough computer chips. But once the problems with the supply chain were fixed, automakers sped up production to meet the rising demand for EVs in the US. CarGurus data shows that dealerships have about 117 electric vehicles, EVs, on their lots right now, which is enough for a typical 45-day supply. This is compared to 78 gas-powered cars and 54 hybrids. The auto business is putting a lot of money on EVs. Automakers are spending billions of dollars to change their factories so they can make EVs. As the number of EVs available grows, companies are lowering the prices of these green cars to get people to buy them. The National Renewable Energy Laboratory says that over the course of its life, an EV emits 50% less CO2 than a gas-powered car, and a hybrid cuts those emissions by 25%. Getting the country's gas cars to use less carbon would take longer if people choose hybrids over electric vehicles. Also, prices are going down at a time when people in the US don't seem to be as interested in EVs. This month, the consulting company McKinsey did a poll and found that almost half of US drivers who want an EV plan to switch back to a gas-powered vehicle. A different triple poll found that people's desire to buy electric cars is decreasing. Only 18% of US adults say they are likely to buy an EV, which is less than the 23% who said they would buy one last year. The poll found that consumers are most worried about EVs' high prices, limited charging stations, and short range. Newman said that EV drivers are still very worried about the lack of charging sites, but that efforts have been made by automakers and local governments to add more. Policies and incentives set by the government. Policies and rewards from the government are very important for getting people to buy and use electric cars. There are stricter emission standards in many countries around the world, and both consumers and manufacturers are being encouraged to buy and make electric cars. Many times, these benefits come in the form of tax credits, rebates, and subsidies, all of which lower the cost of buying an electric car. In the US, for example, buying an electric car can get you a federal tax credit of up to $7,500. Several states also offer extra benefits like rebates and no sales tax for buying electric cars. In Europe, places like Norway and Germany give electric vehicle buyers big tax breaks. This makes EVs a lot cheaper than regular cars that run on gasoline. As more countries promise to cut carbon emissions and switch to cleaner transportation, government measures will continue to make electric cars more affordable. Automakers are sometimes also given money to make EVs, which lowers the cost of production even more. Lower costs and the supply chain. The optimization of supply lines is another important factor that will likely cause the prices of electric vehicles to drop. More and more companies that make electric cars are spending in vertical integration. which means they are taking more control of the supply chain, from getting the raw materials to making the cars themselves. Companies can cut down on the cost of using third-party providers by streamlining these processes. The gigafactories that Tesla has built are a great example of how vertical integration can lower the cost of making things. Tesla has been able to lower the prices of its electric cars by making the batteries, parts, and cars themselves. The company then passes those saves on to customers. Other automakers are doing the same thing, building their own battery factories and forming agreements with battery suppliers to cut down on their reliance on outside suppliers. Changes in supply and demand. The market for electric cars is getting more competitive as more people want to buy them. Global sales of electric vehicles rose by 43% in 2020, and this trend is likely to speed up in the years to come. When demand goes up, manufacturers raise production to meet it. This lowers the cost of production. EV technology will also become more popular, which will lower prices even more through economies of scale. The first electric vehicles, EVs, were more of a niche product, but as more people buy them, production will rise, which will lower costs for customers. Prices of raw materials and new ways to find them. The price of raw elements, especially lithium, cobalt, and nickel, has changed, but the price of batteries is going down. But new ways of getting these products are helping to keep prices stable or even lower. Companies are putting money into new materials and better ways to get these important resources, which will lower the general cost of production. For example, Tesla and BMW are looking into ways to reduce or get rid of cobalt from their batteries because it is expensive, and the process of getting it is seen as unethical. As these new ideas keep coming up, the price of making electric cars will go down, making them more accessible to more people. Lower costs for repairs. One of the best things about electric cars compared to gas-powered cars is that they are easier to maintain. Because they don't need oil changes, electric cars have fewer moving parts and brakes that wear out less quickly. Because of this, EV owners usually spend less on repairs over the course of the car's life, which makes them more affordable altogether. In addition to lower maintenance costs, many EV makers offer longer warranties on parts of the car, especially the battery. For buyers who are worried about how long their car will last, this can give them extra peace of mind. Good energy trends. Since the world is switching to cleaner energy sources, it should become cheaper to charge an electric car. The cost of clean energy sources like solar and wind power has been going down, and this is likely to keep happening. When compared to gas-powered cars, the cost of running an electric car will go down even more as electricity costs less. Not only that, but improvements in home charging technology and more public charging stations will make having an EV even cheaper. Some people might even be able to charge their cars at home with solar panels, which would mean they wouldn't have to pay for gas at all. Shift around the world towards electricity. Lastly, the move towards electric power around the world will make electric cars cheaper. The market for electric vehicles will continue to grow as more countries get rid of gasoline and diesel cars and put money into facilities for electric vehicles. Because of this rise in demand, there will be more competition, prices will go down, and EVs will be more affordable for people. A lot of countries have big plans for how transportation will work in the future. For instance, the European Union wants all new cars sold by 2035 to have no emissions, and several US states, including California, have said they will not sell any new gasoline-powered cars after that year. As these policies take action, the prices of electric cars will keep going down, making them the most popular way to get around in the next few decades. Electric cars are becoming more popular, and prices will go down because batteries are getting cheaper, technology is getting better, there is more competition, and the government is backing them. In the next few years, customers can expect to find more affordable electric cars on the market as the global auto industry moves towards electric vehicles. Even though electric cars may be more expensive at first than gas-powered cars, they are a great choice for the future of transportation because they save money on fuel and upkeep over time and are better for the environment. As prices keep going down, more and more people will be able to afford electric cars. This will speed up the move to a more environmentally friendly future. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay ahead of the curve on the latest trends in electric vehicles and green technology, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss out on any future updates, tips, or insights that can help you make informed decisions. Let's drive into the future together.